Well, hello there. Welcome. Pull up a chair and I'll tell you about the show. This is Untameable. And it's for you if you're a no bullshit kind of person and you are done with constantly having to prove yourself, jump through other people's hoops and please them, and you want to experience the freedom and the power of living in the fullness of who you really are and who you want to be. I'm Hayley, your host. I'm a confidence and empowerment coach, a professionally trained actor, and a pole dancing potty mouth pom residing here in Australia. And I created the Untameable show as a place for candid, vulnerable, and at times risque conversation on all things empowered living and expression. This is where we challenge conditioning and the status quo, and where we step into the joy, the passion, and the power of our truth. Because let's face it, life is too short, so fuck playing small and fuck apologising for who you are. So if this sounds like exactly the kind of thing that is right up your alley, grab a chair, make a cuppa, and enjoy. If you're feeling isolated, disconnected, maybe there are other people around you who don't really get you or get the things that you're wanting or that you're yearning for, or you're not really having the conversations you want to have, then pull up your chair and join us right now for this episode all about living without apology. So Megan, I'm going to share a little bit about the post that I read that you wrote, which has inspired this whole episode. I'm going to pull it up here on my computer and read. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read the bit that really grabbed me and grabbed my attention. And I might even find the comment I wrote on here. I think I was like, yes, this is amazing. This is everything that I love and that I'm about. So you start off by saying 2 words that broke me. Last weekend we went camping and I opened my book, Power by Kemi Nekvabil. She was your coach last year, you mentioned. She wrote a personal message in it. When I read her 2 words she wrote to me, I burst into tears without apology. In the past, I've struggled with apologizing for the space I take up. Someone steps on my foot and I say sorry for taking up space. I would start a sentence with, I'm sorry, but, or I'd overly justify myself to people that didn't require justification. I'm reading this, Megan, and I'm like, yes. That's been my whole lived experience in the past. And it's based on good girl conditioning that I was raised to believe through my culture, religion, sex, and morals of my childhood. Living without apology doesn't mean I don't apologize for doing wrong or hurting others. It's not about being inconsiderate. It means I don't apologize for the space I'm taking up, for the woman I am, and for who I'm becoming. It's making decisions based on my highest values, the beliefs I choose for myself, my vision for my life, without apology, authentically, uninhibited. Oh, I love that word. Uninhibited by the judgment and scrutiny of others, with integrity and love. And then you said, I want this for you too. And I was like, yes.
I'm listening to you read it back going, wow, did I write that? That's really good.
Yes, it is fucking good. And if you're watching this or listening to this and you're like, yep, tick, 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 done that, lived that, is my experience, then this episode is for you. And this speaks to something so deep, so entrenched in society. I feel like this could potentially be like a massive conversation. But let's get it started with exploring the drive, the motivation for you to speak to this, because I think it's the first time I've actually seen you speak to this publicly on your social media. It is quite a daring post, I find, like to be able to call out this kind of behavior and this kind of conditioning.
Yeah, I think I don't know, turning 40, I turned 40 about a month ago, and I feel like it's a turning point for a woman. I hope women have this turning point much younger. But for me, it was about no longer apologizing for who I am and the space I take up in this world. And by that, I mean, I was brought up in quite a conservative Christian religious background, and I was brought up in a very white middle-class society, and I was conditioned to be good. And it's all about, being compliant and being nice, and I'm doing the inverted commas because nice isn't always kind. And it was all about don't rock the boat, don't get too big for your shoes. My grandfather used to actually say that to me, don't get too big for your shoes, Megan.
I heard that too. Don't get a big head. Don't
yes.
get too big for your boots.
Yes, don't get too big for your boots. Exactly right. And in Australia, we have the tall poppy syndrome. And I think it's very insidious here. It's this horrible culture of, if somebody is getting too tall, if somebody is, by that, I mean, making their way in this world, whatever it may be, shining too brightly, we cut them down. And that's the culture that we have here. And I find that it impacts women a lot more than men. And research has shown that women tend to downplay when they go for a job interview. Women tend to apply for jobs that they're actually overqualified for. Women don't ask for that pay rise. Whereas men, I forget the exact statistics around this, but men are more likely to go for jobs they're not qualified for and just, oh yeah, I can do that. And so for women, it's like we feel like we have to shrink physically, metaphorically as well. It's all about how small we can be and apologizing for the space we take up. And I'm done with that. I'm done with feeling like I have to apologize for my beliefs that might be different to the way I was brought up, or for putting up a nice photo of me on social media and celebrating the way I look, or even talking about the work that I've done overseas. People have said, are you even for real? You're just, people have actually pulled my husband aside and said, is Megan really fake? Because no one can be this passionate about things. And he's like, yeah, she is this passionate about, ending poverty. She did start this school overseas. This is who she is. But because it's too much for some, so they think it's fake. And so us women who live authentically, who do shine bright, we're often told we're too much. We're being fake. We're not genuine. We need to find our place, cut ourselves down. And that was the work I did with my coach last year, Kemi, who wrote that book, Power, where she wrote those 2 words, without apology, because she knew, like, for me, I needed to stop apologizing for certain things in my life. Like, I would deliberately sabotage a running race because I was the fastest runner when I was in school for a certain time there, and I didn't want to make anyone else feel bad. That's how much I used to apologize. I would downplay everything in my life that I was really good at, because I thought, if I'm good at something, then it means I'm making somebody else feel bad. That was my mentality. So therefore, I can't be too good at anything, because I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to hurt other people, because my heart is, I genuinely love people. And the thought of shining brightly hurting somebody else hurt me. And so therefore, I didn't shine as brightly. Mm-hmm. That way, no one could accuse me of hurting them. And that's such backward thinking.
It is. And I feel like I need to take a seat with this and settle in, because boy, do I have some things to share in response, Megan. So without apology, I'm going to lower my standing desk. Right? Without apology, I'm just going to take my space, settle in to my, you can't see it, but my beautiful pink, like, sway chair.
It is gorgeous.
And just share some of my thoughts with you about this. This whole narrative around cutting people down, right? Cutting people down because they're shining too bright. She can't actually be real because she's too this. It's like this entrenched insecurity of, I don't know how to handle all of my mess of my stuff, so you change and you make yourself different so that I can feel better. It's like a behavior and a way of living from fear, from scarcity. And this, I've seen this behavior in lots of people, not just women, but I think for women in particular, we are living in and trying to thrive in a world that has been built, that's built around a system we didn't create. We weren't part of making the system that runs the world. Now, in recent years, we have found a way to work it, but we're also still apologizing for having gone and created some, an awesome level of success for ourselves within this system. And we're also apologizing for when we have thoughts of, well, I think we could do better. I could do better. I could do this differently. I actually don't want to do what everyone's always done. This has been a big part of my personal journey as well.
Yes.
Apologizing for wanting to do things differently.
Yes, exactly. Or wanting to do more. Like, shouldn't you just be happy with what you've got? Which presupposes that if we want to achieve more, if we want that next level, that we're not currently happy, but we can be happy with what we have and still desire more. And that is okay. But women weren't allowed to ask for more. Historically, we should just be grateful for what we're given. You should be grateful that you got the right to vote. You should be grateful that you can buy a house. You should be grateful now that you can, now women are getting more equal pay. You should be grateful. At least it's shrinking the gap. You should be grateful. And it's like, you can be grateful and still want change.
Yes.
And that's what Without Apology is all about. And if you're a woman of color, or if you're a Black woman, it's even worse. It's even harder. And we're meant to apologize for who we are, for the essence of who we are, not necessarily with our words like saying, oh, sorry, I'm this way. But we even say that. We even start a sentence with, I'm sorry, but. And it's like, I'm sorry to say this, but. And it's like we use it as a disclaimer, because how dare we just say our opinion without apologizing for it? Or we'll do a little giggle when we talk. So we might say something serious, but to kind of soften to kind of soften it, we then go, or we might go, yeah, because we want to look more appealing, more kind. And so we try and round the edges and not be so blunt, and therefore our message gets diluted in the process. Our power gets diluted. We're diluting ourselves, and this world needs women who are fully in their power, who are owning all of them, all your privileges. And this is also the work that I did, and this is also part of living without apology, is owning it. Like, if I look at all my privileges, white, I'm physically able, I've got a university degree, I'm born in Australia, there's so many, I'm attractive, there's so many different privileges that I have. And instead of feeling guilty for it, living without apology isn't saying, oh, I'm not going to acknowledge any of this stuff. It's saying, I acknowledge it. So now how can I use my privilege for good? How can I use it to help elevate the voices of others? Or how can I use it to generate more positivity, more joy, more whatever it may be for you in this world? And that's, I think, important part of living without apology, is saying, this is who I am. This is what I have. This is what I've been given. I won the birth lottery. And therefore, with that, I believe comes an obligation to live without apology by using that for the greater good.
I love this message, because it's speaking to the purpose and the benefit of us seeking to live without apology. And I also love to throw in without permission. What I mean by that is without permission from others. Or is it okay if I do this? Is it okay? Do you mind if, which to me feels like another form of apology.
Absolutely. Yes. Like, we don't need permission to shine. When we shine, we give others permission to do the same. But the truth is, nobody needs the permission. We're waiting for permission to, if you're a new mum, to go back to work because there's all these pressures on you, or to stay at home if that's what you want, or waiting for permission to ask for that pay rise, or we're waiting for permission to launch that business, or to increase our prices in our business. We're always in the waiting room, essentially, of our own lives. And we're waiting for someone to open the door and give us permission to walk through, when the door's not even locked to begin with. We can walk straight through.
Yes, we can. We have been sold the biggest fucking lie that the doors are locked. They're not. Those doors were put there by someone else who's gone, well, I don't have any doors. It's one rule for me, one rule for you. We can be like, no, I'm not buying into that. And things are starting to come together for me out of this conversation. So I'm loving it so far. It's kind of like the image I'm getting is that the permission piece from others, I need your permission, comes with, well, if I give myself permission and I do it anyway, then I'm going to have to apologize. Oh, I don't want to upset people, so I'm going to wait for the other person's permission. It's like I feel like they go hand in hand. If I think back to my own experiences of where I have done this, it's like, oh, I didn't seek your permission, so now I have to apologize. And if I go ahead and make my own way, act on my own choice, which is based on my values and my needs and my desires. Oh, but I didn't get the go ahead from you. I didn't run it past you first. Then I have to apologize. And this is so fucked because, if we think in binary terms for a second, like men in general, like the masculine, don't have to do this.
No, I have yet to really encounter, unless they're LGBTQI community, then they might. But generally speaking, if they're white and they're particularly middle class,
that's it.
Not at all. The most privileged people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And it's so true. And so there's this little dance between, waiting for permission and apologizing if we don't wait for their permission. So it's either I take action without the permission, then I have to apologize, or I need their permission and then I know this is okay. And this goes across so many different areas, in our lives, and it plays out. And you know what happens if it doesn't work out? So say we choose to do something without somebody's permission, right? We just choose to open that door and walk through and it doesn't work out. This is where shame kicks in. Because of our conditioning, we therefore think, oh, I should never have done that anyway. That person was right. I'm not made for this. Or, I should have waited, or I shouldn't have done that. And then we feel ashamed and then we hide. And we shrink even further.
What a great episode. Wasn't it awesome? I trust you got heaps of gold out of that one and that you enjoyed the tips. Do let me know how you go with those, by the way. Hit me up with a DM on Instagram at all lowercase letters, _embodied_woman. I'll pop it in the show notes with everything else. Subscribe if you love us, rave about us to others, and leave us a review anywhere you want, really, so more humans can benefit from these important, powerful conversations that we are having. We're trying to start a movement here. #Untameable, #fuckplaying_small, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. And if you might perchance like to be on this end of the screen or the airwaves, depending if you're listening or watching, with me, and you've got a story to tell or something important to share around what we're all about here at Untameable, then you can apply to be a guest. Yes, just check the show notes. As I said, everything is there. So until next time, beautiful, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.